Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 of Ryan's Daily Walk. Been wanting to kick this off for a while now, and I definitely wanted to start off with some series that we can be going in and diving in depth in a lot of scripture. The first series I wanted to start with was a sound doctrine series, which is what we're going to be looking at today, episode 1 of that, to give you some context and some backstory to why we're doing this and what we're going to be doing during this series. I kind of want to go and look at scripture and how it's being misused and misinterpreted. So often I see online people using scripture in the wrong manner just for like an Instagram story or a post on Facebook, and they're using the scripture out of context, not truly understanding and knowing the definitive reasoning behind that scripture, the backstory of that scripture, or the actual application of that scripture. So what I wanted to do by this is per series episode, we would take 3 of the most commonly misused scriptures and break them down, how they're being misused, go over the scripture itself, and then kind of look at what's the actual way to use this scripture, what's the actual application of the scripture, to give you an actual application on what you can do with that scripture now that you know the true meaning behind it and put it into effect and play in your life. So to get it kicked off, this will be episode 1 of our Sound Doctrine series. Going in at number 1, we'll jump straight into it. Jeremiah 29:11, and I will be using the King James Version throughout these studies. So here's the verse for you. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. This is commonly used and interpreted as God guaranteeing you immediate success, comfort, or a trouble-free life. People love to do that when they're posting stuff online. People love to do this when they're talking about how they're going through a hard time now and something's guaranteed around the corner or guaranteed as long as they keep the faith. What is actually meaning, and I've got to give you a little bit of a biblical historical background of this is a promise that was given to Israel in Babylonian captivity. It was assuring them of God's long-term covenant and his faithfulness. This was no instant relief. You got to think about how long Israel was in exile and was in captive by Babylon and how many difficult things they went through, even going back and looking to Numbers and how long they were wandering the wilderness. So any of the promises that were made and given to Israel, you can never say weren't something they had to wait for. So a good application of this verse would be that God's plans are faithful and redemptive, even when you are in a season of discipline or waiting. You could also call this your Babylonian season, okay? That means that you need to be patient and understand that yes, God does have a good end for you, but sometimes that good end is meeting him in glory. Next up, coming in at number 2, is going to be Philippians 4:13. This has to be the most used and misused verse in the Bible. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. I also misinterpreted this verse growing up. When I was old enough to go get a tattoo, this is the first thing I put across my back. And I didn't even understand it at the time. It took actually my Sunday school teacher later on in life pointing out to me, at really just kind of calling me out on it and saying, hey, do you know what that verse means? And I'm like, yeah, it means I can do anything with Christ. You know, as long as I have Christ, I can do anything. But here we can see here is how it's commonly interpreted is I can accomplish any dream, goal, or ambition with Christ. But what we're actually meant to get from this and understanding this is during a time of Paul, who was Saul, converted over when he was on the road to Damascus. This is Paul in prison. He's speaking about enduring hardship, poverty, and his abundance through Christ's strength. Really, a lack thereof is his strength. Not that he can do anything, but that he can go without anything. This is when he was going without food. He didn't even need food, is what he's saying here. Right? So it's not that he's going to help you achieve every single thing you want to do and you can lift all the weight you want to in the gym. It's not really that at all. What it is actually take everything away. And if all I have is Christ for my strength, then that's all I need. A good application for this would be Christ strengthens you to endure anything, and God allows you not to fulfill selfish ambitions, right? So people use this verse as selfish ambitions. I'm also one of the people that used to misinterpret it and misuse this in that exact manner. But just know this isn't what you're gonna achieve because Christ is on your side. It's because of what Christ did that we don't have to achieve all that. All we need is Christ. At number 3, it's going to be Matthew 7:1. Man, this one right here is the most commonly misused verse. And most of the time, it's not even being misused by actual Christians themselves. This is what the LGBTQ community and the trans community and the pro-abortion community and all of these different communities that are outside of the Christian faith and the church love to throw in your face. Okay? Judge not, that ye be not judged. You can't judge me is what they'll love to say. You can't judge me. Who are you to judge? You're sinful also. It's commonly misinterpreted as Christians should never call out sin or discern right from wrong. That is the worst possible use of this you can imagine. And even Christians themselves will call each other out for judging someone when all you're doing is properly correcting them. What it actually means, and if you go and look, this is a teaching directly from Jesus, is him condemning hypocritical judgment, not righteous discernment. There is a clear difference. Hypocritical judgment would be if I'm going home every night and getting drunk, but I tell you that you should not be drinking, and I'm calling you out, and you're drinking too much, but I'm going home every night and getting drunk. That would be hypocritical judgment. But righteous discernment means fellow Christians that I see in my church, in my group settings, that are going out of their way for things that I've already fixed in my life. If alcohol is no longer an issue in my life, but I see it destroying another Christian's life, it is my job, according to the scriptures, to call that out. Make them aware of it. Use your discernment. You can also go on to see in verse 5 there, it talks about removing the plank from your eye before you worry about the speck in your brother's, right? That means now that I've removed it from my life and it's no longer a giant issue of mine, I can now not hypocritically tell someone that they are in the wrong. Bring it up to them. Call them out on it. Fellow Christians in particular. The application of this would be to examine yourself first, then judge righteously and humbly. Don't go in all aggressive. This what he's talking about right here is not saying, oh, you're going to hell because you're drinking. No, calm that down. Okay? It's righteously and humbly to judge. Right? Use your discernment. Be proper in the manner you approach someone. You don't want to turn someone off from our own faith because of the way you're representing it. Well, guys, I really hope you learned something. And if you didn't learn something, you already knew these. Drop a like, comment, let me know some other verses that you see very often misinterpreted, being misused. I'm really hoping with the series to grow in my own discernment and knowledge of the biblical text, also while possibly helping other people. If you have plenty of scriptures that you know of that you see being misused or you interpret a different way that you don't see other people using, leave those in the comments. If you learned anything or you enjoyed this kind of content, give me a like, drop it down below, subscribe. We also have our community. You can join the community. You can post verses, questions, anything you got going on there. I try my best to get back with people on a daily basis. So thanks for watching. Tune in to episode 2 coming soon.